Warning: you must disconnect the Opus Mini from the main power supply before carrying out any work on this machine.
The passage of the film through the Opus Mini is monitored by an optical sensor. If you get the film out error message while there is obviously film in the machine, this means there's a problem with the sensor. Remove the 5 rear cover bolts and remove the back cover. This is where the sensor is located. Loosen the bottom 2 screws and check that the wheel is lined up correctly with the air tube and retighten. If necessary, loosen the sensor grub screw and check that there is a 1 mm gap between the wheel and the sensor for the passage of the film. Retighten the mounting bolts and test the machine to see if this has resolved the problem. If this has not solved the problem, it will be necessary to replace the sensor. Remove the 2 mounting bolts from the bottom of the sensor chassis. Pull the sensor assembly forward and slacken the grub screw so that the sensor can be removed. Feed the sensor and cable down through its mounting, behind the blower pipe. Remove the sensor lead connector block from the circuit board. To fit the replacement sensor, feed the cables under the circuit board and reattach the connector block from the old sensor, ensuring that it is wired correctly. Replace this in the circuit board. The sensor cable is relayed by threading it through in the path of the sensor that you removed. Ensure that the cable is clear of any moving parts. Insert the sensor into the mount and set the distance of the sensor from the wheel to about 1 mm and tighten the retaining grub screw. Ensure the wheel turns freely. Replace the assembly in position and fit and tighten the retaining bolts, ensuring that the wheel is parallel to the bullet on the front of the machine, as seen here. Recheck the clearance of the sensor and replace the back of the Opus Mini. Should there be no replacement sensor immediately available and your customer needs the machine to run, it is possible to turn the sensor off so that the error is ignored by the system. Enter the Engineering Settings submenu and scroll through the options using the Select key until you come to Film Out Time. This is set here to 2000 milliseconds. To turn the sensor off, using the down arrow key, set to 0 milliseconds. Be aware that if the sensor is turned off, the machine will run whether there's film in it or not. Therefore, the customer will need to monitor it, as it will not switch off when it's run out of film, and this will need to be done manually. This fix is temporary for a customer who needs to use the machine until a new sensor arrives. When the sensor is fitted, this setting must be reset to its original value.